What's up, Seahawks fans? We got news, rumors coming up here on today's show, and if you're trying to rock out with your hawk out, you need to go ahead and get started with Manscaped. Head on over to manscaped.com. Use that promo code Seahawks where you can save 20% off and get free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. So when I started today's show, I was like, you know what? I have a goal set, and I want to have a little bit of fun, and I want to show Manscaped a little bit of love. I need 50 people to go down in the comments section and type balls, and some people are like, what the hell is this guy doing around here? You know why? Because if you use Manscaped, your balls will thank you. So if you're a big fan of Manscaped, if you want your balls to thank you, I want you to go ahead and start spamming balls. Let's get into the latest around KJ Wright. So basically, probably one of the biggest stories going on right now around the Seahawks is actually about a player who is not currently on the team. He is a free agent, but he had an official visit with the Las Vegas Raiders today. It sounded like there was some momentum that he could potentially sign there, but he left without signing a deal. So now there's a report out there that he's just weighing all of his options. He's trying to figure out where the best place for him is to ultimately sign. And I know most Seahawks fans are like, you know what, this guy has been the face of our defense for such a long time, coming off a year where he had 86 tackles, and some people are like, oh, that's kind of a down year for KJ, but 2 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries. So the question that I'm going to ask y'all here is this. Do you want Wright to return onto the Seahawks? Do you want Seattle, after getting this update that he left Las Vegas and that he's weighing all of his options, do you want him to come back to Seattle? I want you to go down in the comments section right now, type Y for yes, or I want you to type N for no. This is a big old yes. Like, I really honestly believe that almost any team out there could benefit from having Wright. He's probably the top free agent still out there on the market. I still think if he's fully healthy, even though he's over the age of 30, can still be one of the top linebackers on this team. But for what he's been able to give you, I mean, I don't even know if you can put it into words, because this defense has had some ups, had some downs, right? And if you take away Wright from this equation, it's definitely going to hurt you. 132 tackles in 2019, battled some injuries in 2018, but realistically, if he's on the field, he's a guaranteed over 80 tackle machine, probably going to have over 100. The other area that he really adds is he's just such a versatile player. He can just help transition this defense. He can help transcend the game in so many different ways. Look at these snaps. Played in 990 snaps last year, 34% against the run. Pass rush situations, 11%, and then he can also drop back into coverage, 55%. What's probably one of the biggest areas of weaknesses for the Seahawks defense? Coverage. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that, oh, if you don't have KJ Wright, you're not going to be able to cover, but let's face it. He's a leader on and off the field, and I am a big-time believer that almost every single person watching this video right now wants KJ Wright back in Seattle. Now, if KJ Wright does sign here, or if we get any other kind of news whatsoever, I want you to stay up to date here and subscribe to Seahawks Today for the best coverage on YouTube, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Join the family, and if you're wondering, Mitch, why the heck should I subscribe to this channel? Well, we got weekly Seahawks vids, and here's the thing about Chat Sports. The more subs, the more videos. We actually have some channels around here that have videos that go out every single day. We have some channels here that even have a live show that happens every single week. We're not quite there yet for this channel, but we are trending in the right direction. We're also doing fan interaction. More subs equals more vids. Plus, I mean, you can't beat it. 100% free, so go ahead and subscribe. All right, so what we're going to get into now is some training camp winners, if you will. I got Damarius Randall. He has been, thus far, pretty impressive. One of the things that's been standing out about Randall at camp is his versatility. He can play a little safety. He can play a little corner. Predominantly, he's been lining up as a corner for this secondary, but if need be, he can drop back. One of the things that Pete Carroll actually talked about at training camp on Wednesday was Jamal Adams. All this conversation about around him maybe not being the best coverage guy. If they need to drop back Randall in certain situations, they can do it. Now, he didn't play too much last year. 3 tackles, 10 games total. 28 years old, still trying to, I think, find his right footing after kind of having a little bit of a mishap last offseason with the Raiders and then had some up and down years even with the Cleveland Browns. But when you look at the Seahawks depth chart right now, there's at least some opportunities for him to find some potential playing time, maybe in the safety safety area, maybe as a strong, maybe as a free safety, and also line up as a cornerback. So Demarius Randall, he was the first person that I mentioned. And before I start talking about some other guys that are, well, putting it up here at Seahawks camp, I do want to give some love to Manscaped. So imagine this scenario, okay? A girl's looking at you. You want her to start licking her lips that she just can't wait to get after it. If she looks at it and she's like, you know what? That'll do. It's probably because you're not using Manscaped. So go get your hands on the Lawnmower 4.0. That way she puts her hands around, you know what I'm talking about. It's manscaped.com. Promo code is Seahawks to save 20% off and get free shipping on the best male grooming products out here. When I started the show, I said you want to rock out with your hawk out, and I had my man Jack behind the scenes here. His jaw dropped. You want your girl's jaw dropped as well. So code Seahawks at manscaped.com. Promo code. Come on. Get the setup. All right, let's go to Darrell Taylor here, defensive end for Seattle. Second-round draft pick in 2020. I'll be honest, I thought this was a little bit of a reach. You know, he's kind of like an edge overall, if you will, but didn't play in 2020 as a rookie because of and this just sounds painful, a fractured fibula. Now, Carroll has got high expectations, and I kind of see that being the exact same way, too. Obviously, they went ahead, they drafted him high, though, like I said, I still thought it was a little bit higher than perhaps what he should have gone. But so far, it's so good. He's looked pretty solid at camp. A lot of coaches, a lot of players have been saying the right things, and for a player that misses entire rookie season, especially in a crazy 2020 COVID year, you're starting to see the correct or right reports. So he's 6'4", 267 pounds, 24-year-old coming out of Tennessee. The question that I'm going to ask y'all is, since, you know, Manscaped's the sponsor here and all, how many sacks is Taylor going to end up having this upcoming season? It's not probably the easiest question, but at the end of the day, like, these are the questions that we like to ask here because it's that extra analysis. So go down in the comments. Let me know how many sacks Taylor has, and if you say only one, I'm going to be a little bit upset. I'm going to go ahead and say 4. And the reason why I'm going to go ahead and say 4 is because when I see the way that he's going to fit in this defense, it reminds me a lot of the way Seattle used Bruce Irvin. And I'm not saying Taylor's Bruce Irvin by any sense of the imagination, but Irvin was a solid edge setter. He was a solid outside linebacker that could also put his hand in the dirt when need be, and that's what I see him being. So 4 sacks for Taylor this upcoming season. I know my man Tom Downey actually talked about Colby Parkinson earlier in the week, and I don't know if they're just trying to hype him up or what, but man, the amount of buzz coming out of camp from him is just really spectacular. 4th-round draft pick in 2020. Missed most of his rookie season due to a foot injury, and so far, he has looked very, very good. I know one of the things that Seattle tried to do this offseason is find a replacement for David Moore, a third wide receiver. I threw out the name Gerald Everett. I thought that's why they went out and signed him. Now, Everett's going to be that starting tight end for you, but, and as Carroll said, Parkinson is so, damn big at 6'7", 251 pounds. He's hard to miss. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go out there and get a lot of reps because between him, Will Dissly, they're probably going to split the tight end 2 role. But if you got a 6'7", dude, I mean, I feel like you almost have to use him in the red zone because it was an area that Seattle kind of struggled in a little bit last season. So, when you look at Dissly, I say he's probably the better blocker. Parkinson's probably the more of the red zone option. And then you have Gerald Everett, who's going to be that main tight end. I'm going to go ahead and say he's probably going to get 35 to 40 catches this upcoming season. But here's the question I'm going to hit y'all with, because Dissly did a halfway decent job last season. Who do you think is going to make the bigger impact? I'm not saying just more catches, more yards, because this Seahawks team, whether we want to let Russ cook or not, they're going to run the football. So I think also being able to block really enters the equation in who's going to have the bigger impact. If you think it's Colby Parkinson, type CP. If you think it's Will Dissly, type WD.